Okay guys, it's January the 7th, I'm sorry, February the 7th. Behind me, still hauling hay out to the cow-calf pairs and the yearlings that are in the back of the farm. So kind of what I've settled on, I know I talked about the bale grazing. So basically what I've settled on, rather than pre-setting out the hay in the field, I've been hauling it out and setting it just outside the field that they're in. And then basically twice a week I'm coming out and setting out 6 to 8 rolls, because they're going through about 2 rolls a day. So I'm feeding 6 to 8 rolls, which will last them 3 to 4 days. So that's what we're doing today. I wanted to kind of show you, I'm basically creating a sacrifice area where the broomsedge is to try to get rid of it. So I was just going to kind of show you guys that and what things are looking like about halfway through the winter. Okay, so here's what I kind of settled on for this winter. I just unrolled a roll of hay. I've got about 30 bales, 30 rolls of some alfalfa mix that was first cutting, that had probably been rained on, I think, but it does have some seed in it and it's better quality hay. So when I come out, I've been unrolling 1 roll of that alfalfa mix that has some good orchard grass seed in it. And then toward the back of the farm, the back of the field, I've been setting out hay, and I'll walk back there and show you what that looks like. And the further back and the further to the right you get, you start to get more broomsedge. Here you can see the hay I'm unrolling. It's not the best quality, but guy actually gave it to me for free. And it does have some seed in it, as I mentioned. It's got some alfalfa and it's got some orchard grass seed. But again, they're kind of unrolling it, allows them to kind of pick through the good parts. And there's some seed there. So there's some orchard grass seed head. So it's allowing them to pick through that and pick out the good out of it, and hopefully that seed will help re-sow some of this field. Okay, so there's where I unrolled the hay. I'm standing toward the back now. This is where I've been feeding hay and basically making a sacrifice area, and this is where there had been just a lot of broomsedge. So after a week of frozen weather and nothing above freezing, we ended up having a week of rain. So they have tracked this up pretty bad in spots. So where I'm standing right now is the worst of it. You can still see like where there was a hay roll fed here, and that's kind of a thatch of hay, but there's mud around it. As you get toward the back, I had fed there before we had gotten all that rain, and it's actually in pretty good shape. But where I'm standing right now is the worst part. This is not real deep mud. It's maybe, well, it's actually dry now, but it's maybe, you know, when it was muddy, it was maybe 3 to 4 inches deep in this certain area. So we're talking about maybe a 50 to 70 foot diameter area. Excuse me. I'm actually going to go back through when it's dry, and possibly even today. It's pretty dry today, and actually feed some hay rolls over top of this muddy area, or where there's no grass left. That way it'll help, you know, get some cover over top of it. That way we're not just on bare dirt. And then we're going to walk over here, and I'm going to show you where I'm going to make a sacrifice area, or I'm sorry, I'm going to make an exclusion area to kind of use as a control, to be able to see the difference in what we've done with our bale feeding and where we haven't fed hay. I'll show you that. Okay, so this is looking back toward the area we have fed hay so far in the back of the field. I'm going to pan over and you can start to see where the broomsedge comes in. So this is where we have not fed hay yet. You can see how much broomsedge is there. That's all that orange looking grass. There's also some cedars wanting to come up in this area. And again, you can kind of see that's where we have been so far. This is the direction we're heading. And what I'm planning on doing in the back corner of this field, so there, I just fed here last time, so you can see when it was dry how little mud there is. So you can see around these hay rolls there's virtually no mud, and it was dry and we didn't get any rain while this was being fed. So I'd fed 2 where I'm standing, and I'd fed 1 there and 1 there last time. So in the very back corner of this field, I'm going to use this as a control. So let me walk over. So this is the back corner. If you can see, there's a gate kind of straight ahead. For reference, you can see how much broomsedge is here. Hopefully that shows up good on the video, or well on the video. So I'm not going to feed anything in this area. They still have access to it. So this is going to be my control. No hay feeding here. I'm going to extend that down to the bottom of the hill. So from here all the way over to here, there's going to be no hay feeding. And I'll come in and basically, you can see where I fed there. So I'll come in basically and feed in a straight line, avoiding that area. And then we are going to feed in this area going toward the cows. So all this area in front of me, this area over here, all this is going to be fed this winter. I may have to do it more than one winter, but that's the plan. You can see a few spots where we'd fed hay last year, like this. That's where we had fed a hay roll, fed one there, fed one there. And this is what we're going for. So we were able to choke out. You can see, hopefully that shows up well, but you can see where there's broomsedge all around where we fed that hay roll. There's a little bit inside of it, but not much. And then you can see the pasture quality. Well, you can see where there's hay decomposing. See that hay still decomposing. This has been a year ago. But again, we're feeding the soil microbes is basically what we're doing with this. So yeah, so this is going to be something that's going to take a couple years. So I'm not necessarily going to be able to give you a instant picture of what this is going to look like in a couple years, but we're basically sacrificing this broomsedge area, trying to rebuild the soil without spending any extra money. You know, we have to feed the cows hay anyway in this scenario, but if we can build this up with the hay, with the cow manure, then that's the goal. And I've done this before on other farms, and it takes probably 2 or 3 years. We're in year 2, but last year I fed very little hay in this area, so I'd more or less consider it year 1. So, you know, we'll kind of see what happens over time, but it's a good way to build up fertility. I mean, you can see okay, so you can see all the cow pies on the ground, even in areas where we haven't fed yet. You know, you can see all the manure that's been laid down, not to mention the decomposing hay, but even in the areas where we haven't fed hay yet, you can see all that manure deposited. Okay guys, it's February the 16th. I want to finish up my talk about you know, what we're doing as far as feeding hay out on the pasture with some soil samples. I brought a soil sample probe out today, and I'm getting ready to feed hay. I just unrolled some hay, but I'm going to show you kind of what we're planning on doing with our control area where we're not feeding hay versus the area that I'm getting ready to feed hay on. I'm going to take soil samples before and after. So I'm going to show you that real quick. Okay, I think everybody probably knows this already, but when you do an experiment like this, it's good to have a control. So a control is an area where you're not applying whatever you're studying. So the back corner is going to be my control area. I think I explained that earlier a little bit. So I'm not going to feed any hay on that area. The cows still have access to it, but no hay feeding there. The area, you know, the other area I talked about, I am getting ready to feed hay there. I'm going to take soil samples before I feed hay on that area. And then we'll kind of have to wait till next year to retest that area to see if there's a difference. But I'm also going to take soil samples in the area where we fed hay last year, where that hay is broken down that I just showed you. And that'll be a comparison of what a year has done in those areas. You know, you can only cover so much area with this, with the bell feeding. But again, I found it dramatically helps the soil. I'm curious to see what the results are going to be from the samples that we take today. And again, it may take a month or so to get the results back. I'll send those to UK. The University of Kentucky does that soil testing for us. Taking soil samples. The cows are being nosy today. They're following me around. This is our soil probe that we're taking samples with. Just push it in the ground and then get your sample out and put it in the bag. This bags they give you. Checking it out today. These are bags, and I've got the field labeled. All right, we're done with this project for today. Got my soil samples. I'm getting ready to take soil samples on the farm that we bought that was in soybeans. We bought it back in May. Gonna try to plant it back in the grass probably sometime in March. Was planning on ordering some seed today. And then I'm going to take soil samples on that crop ground and see what it looks like. Hopefully it's decent. I know they, had fertilized it every year or every other year. So we'll see what that looks like and get results back on our samples. And I'll share the results with you once we get them back. Whenever we start planting grass on the crop ground, then I'll, take some videos, show you what we're doing there. Again, hope you guys have a good day and hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.